Have you ever felt fine one moment and then the next moment something happens and you're feeling very challenged, overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, sad, or any other not so pleasant emotions? Those emotional triggers that make you feel not okay from one moment to the next can often really hijack your whole being, your whole awareness, your inner peace. So if you're often going from one moment feeling great and the next moment something happens, you're feeling very much not okay, that is actually an invitation for you to stop, to pause, to become aware, well, what triggered you, so you can work through that. Because these triggers and what we're feeling, they're often the mirror into our subconscious mind, into what is really going on within us. Because if we're being triggered, that usually stems from any unresolved emotional woundings, any past experiences, because it's like you keep poking the bear, and that's when you're feeling very triggered. And it's very important to work with your emotional triggers instead of getting derailed by them. And in this video, I want to share with you how to turn those moments of emotional hijacking with those triggers into opportunities for immense inner growth and transformation. Because these triggers do not define who you are. They also do not have to control you or have control over your life. You can be in control over your emotions, over your state of being, and it's about really becoming aware whenever you're being triggered. Now, triggers could be that someone says something and you're feeling a certain way, you're feeling not okay. Or even, let's say, someone cuts you off on the street and then you're like, you're just yelling and fussing in the car. That is a trigger. Or when someone does something and all of a sudden you're feeling very disappointed, very hurt, things like that. Or maybe you're just seeing something and that also triggers something, right? It's whenever you're feeling not okay. It's like I said, you're being poked, right? You're being squeezed, you're being pushed, you're being kind of nudged very hardly, right? That's a trigger. Those emotions, when you're going from being absolutely okay to feeling not okay and reacting, oftentimes when we're being triggered, we are reacting. We're not responding in a way that is really to our highest and greatest good. It's often that we're just reacting. Something happens, you're like, wow, right? We're just reacting to that. That's because of those triggers. And you want to recognize, when are you being triggered? Because awareness is the first step. If you're not aware, then, well, you just keep getting triggered and, life is happening to you instead of you being the conscious creator of your own reality, of your own state of being. So awareness is really key. It's the more self-aware you can become whenever you're feeling not okay, is going to be huge. It's going to be really it's what puts you back into the driver's seat of your life, of your experiences. Because you can go through life on total autopilot and life is just happening all around you and you're being squeezed, you're being triggered, you're being pushed, you're being nudged, and it's happening all to you and you feel like you have no control over it and you're just kind of going blind through your life. That's one option. But a more empowered option is start becoming more aware. Without judgment though, without judging yourself that whenever you are triggered, oh my God, now I got triggered again. No, you don't want to judge yourself like, okay, I got triggered. Then the next step is you want to then pause for a moment. You want to ground yourself. So not just you being triggered and you're reacting, but then just ground yourself in a moment. Pause for a moment. Because that will then also allow you to then respond rather than react. Because oftentimes when we're in that reaction mode, we're often reacting in a very limited, not so pleasant way. We may even do something or say something that we actually then regret afterwards. We're like, why did I do that, right? So here, whenever you're becoming aware, and this takes practice. It's not something that you say, oh, I'm just going to become aware, and then you're having this immense self-awareness. It doesn't work that way. It comes with practice. But the more you practice becoming aware whenever you're feeling not okay, and then taking a step back, pausing for a moment, grounding yourself into the here and now. And here what you can do is just breathing, just tuning into your heart, just focus on your breathing, really breathing, calming yourself down, or just taking a moment of physical space. It's about really just taking that pause. That is going to be key. Once you have the awareness that something triggered you, pause for a moment. Ground yourself. Center yourself again. Then you want to identify the root cause here. What exactly did this trigger bring up within you? Let's say someone says something and you felt a certain way. You felt not okay. Okay, well, what were you feeling? Did you feel maybe rejected, not valued, silenced, not appreciated, not seen, not heard, whatever it is? uncover, well, what did this trigger bring up within you? And then you want to dig a little deeper because you want to get to the root of things. Because whatever just happened, whatever you were triggered with, isn't the cause. It's an effect. The cause happened usually much, much earlier from an experience, whether it was during childhood or just, as you were growing up. Oftentimes these triggers, they're coming from an event in our past that caused us to feel very, very not okay. This can be a traumatic event, or it could be just like the first time that you had experienced it. Think of it like that. The first time you touched a hot stove, that hurt, right? So in that moment, you ingrained, I better never touch a stove again because that hurts, right? That's kind of the same thing. So if, let's say, 10 years later, you accidentally touch the stove, like, oh, shoot, that hurt. Oh my God, I need to work with that. No, that is not the cause. That is like an effect, right? You touched the stove, even though you knew you shouldn't have done that, right? So here you would then go back to, well, when did it originate? Where did it come from? When do you first remember that you had that feeling of not feeling seen, not feeling heard, not feeling, appreciated, feeling rejected, not wanted? Whatever that emotion was that came up when you were being triggered. Go back to when is the first time that you remember that you experienced this. Also, do this in a gentle way, not judging yourself, not being harsh with yourself. Just be very accepting and open, because you want to become aware of, like, where did it come from? Even what is the deeper message behind this? Behind the reaction, behind you being triggered? What is the message, the lesson, and the gift within this? Because maybe there's something that you're meant to learn from this. But uncovering then the root cause of where do you first remember that you have experienced it is going to be key, because then the next step is you want to clear the emotional charge, the negative charge, the energetic charge around that. So here you want to connect with that emotion, whether it was the feeling of feeling rejected or whatever the feeling that was, connecting with that, not the story. Let go of the story. The story never matters. The story is just kind of what helps us kind of get an idea of, well, what happened, and it brings up the feeling. But the story is just the packaging that makes it look a certain way. It does not matter. So let go of the story. Focus on the emotion, the feeling behind it. If you felt rejected, if you felt unwanted, if you felt unseen or unheard, whatever it was, connect with the feeling, let go of the story. Then you want to use a clearing statement. You want to be very intentional about this. So you're connecting with the feeling, and then you can repeat this clearing statement. I now clear and transmute this across all times, space, reality, lifetimes, and dimensions. Or you can say, I now clear and transmute this feeling of unworthiness or feeling of rejection, whatever it is, across all time, space, reality, lifetimes, and dimensions. You can repeat that a couple of times and being very intentional about it. As you're repeating this, you are really intending to dissolve this into nothingness where it came from. You may not even feel somewhat of an energetic release. You may even feel that inner shift. You may actually see or experience something, right? But you want to be very intentional about that, to release that. Once you have released that, you may then want to tune in a little bit more and like, okay, what is the lesson here? What is the lesson, the message, and the gift that I'm meant to learn from this? And you want to integrate that, because oftentimes shadow aspects and emotional triggers, they're triggering our shadow aspects. It's about really integrating the shadow. So it's about becoming aware of what triggered you, getting to the root of it, doing the clearing to really release the energetic charge of it, and then you want to then uncover the message, the lesson, and the gift, and then integrate that, integrating the message, the lesson, and the gift. So if, for example, you felt unvalued, then maybe here the message is, well, where do you not value yourself? Maybe you need to start valuing yourself first for others to then value you too. Okay, then you integrate that. Okay, I integrate the sense of value, self-love, self-appreciation, all of those beautiful things, really integrating that, feeling that, and start acting from that place that you are the person that you value yourself very deeply. You appreciate yourself. You love yourself. You act from that place. And when it comes to the emotional triggers, when they're happening in the moment, yes, it can be quite challenging to do all that in the moment, but it doesn't have to be that extensive, okay? So the next time you're becoming aware that you're being triggered, take a step back. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment. I'm going to maybe go somewhere where you can be undisturbed. Or even if you can't do that, just tune in. Just breathe, ground yourself. Okay, what am I feeling? What am I feeling here? Okay, this is what I'm feeling. Where's this coming from? Okay, cool. What am I meant to learn from this? Okay. Do the clearing, do the healing, release the work, use the clearing statement. Okay, now I'm going to integrate. I'm going to feel self-love. I'm going to feel worthy and deserving and all of those beautiful things. I really feel it. That can be done within just a few minutes. And the more you do this, the quicker it will be. Yes, there are going to be times when, you're being really triggered and you may want to sit with it a little bit more because maybe there's a lot that's being unpacked when you're tuning in. Then maybe take some time. Then maybe in the moment, just do the clearing statement to release the emotional charge around whatever triggered you. But make a note of it. Make a mental note or write it even down that later when you get home or when you have the time and space, that you really sit down and you connect with that trigger again, with that emotion. Okay, what am I meant to really learn from this? Where's this coming from? You really do this work to really dive deeper and then clear. And then here, the clearing can also happen in stages because maybe what triggers you right now, there's so much more that comes with it that you can then go dive deeper into it and use the clearing statement to clear all of that. And then integrating the message, the lesson, the gift, the good feelings, and then start acting from that place. That's how you use emotional triggers for beautiful opportunities for immense inner growth and transformation. Because as you're working with the triggers as they're coming up, you're transcending them into something of a higher nature. So that helps you then grow. That helps you then transcend your being. That's what also helps you be the conscious creator of your own reality. Because these triggers, we all are being triggered, throughout our day. But it's about how you respond to it. That's what's key. Because even when you gain the awareness of how to do this work, doesn't mean you're never going to get triggered. It's just then when you have that awareness, you're working through these triggers with more ease. You're becoming consciously aware of that. Okay, I'm being triggered. Cool, let's do the inner work. And I'm done with it. Versus you're just being triggered and being derailed by it and feeling a total mess or whatnot, and it stays with you for a very long time. Or you actually react in a way that is not to your highest and greatest good. You may do something or say something is not helping you, that is actually causing you or someone else harm. So by you becoming aware of your triggers, by you doing this work of this soul alchemy work, so to speak, this emotional alchemy, you're transcending these triggers into personal growth, personal empowerment, because then okay, if I get triggered, cool, I know what to do with it. This is not going to derail me anymore. That's what makes you the conscious creator of your reality. Because then nothing can derail you anymore. Yes, you're still going to be affected by it, but you're moving through it much quicker and with more ease. So I really hope that you found this video beneficial and helpful to really give you the tools that you need whenever you're being triggered. And I want to invite you, try this out the next time you're being triggered. Remember what I shared with you in this video and give this a try and see how much easier you will move through whenever you're being triggered. And feel free to come back and then let me know how you're feeling about this technique. Has it worked for you? And what was the outcome? I would love to know. But also be sure to check out these two videos here. One is about how your subconscious beliefs are actually sabotaging your dreams and what you can do about it. And another one is about why your lack of self-worth is actually blocking your abundance and also what you can do about that. So I think you're going to enjoy both of them. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.